Hello, and welcome to The Ganru Show. I'm Golda.
And I'm Ganru.
And this is a podcast that's just like catching up with your two best girlfriends.
We'll tell it to you like it is and not hold back.
It's like going to the movies on opening weekend and getting a whole aisle to yourself.
Wow. It's like eating movie theater popcorn and having every kernel covered with the perfect amount of butter.
Yeah, and with 0 calories and 0 net carbs.
In this week's episode, we talk about the movies that changed our lives. And you'll find out why Golda was singing at the top of her voice, running around an Austrian fountain.
Oh, yeah, and you'll also find out why Ganru sticks Kleenex up her nose and is a mouth breather.
Not always. Not all the time.
Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Well, anyways, let's get started.
I just imagine you like with tissue up your nose and going.
That's exactly what I'm doing. That's exactly what I'm doing. That's exactly.
Is that what happens after your date at the museum?
No, what happens at Robbins when I'm groping that guy?
As always, first up, we talk about the best thing that we learned this week. Ganru, what is the best thing that you learned this week?
Well, I learned this from my improv coach. He is an actor himself, and he was a Sunday company member at the Groundlings Improv School here in LA. And he also teaches improv on the side, and I go to these rehearsals with him. His name is Daniel Robbins. I was going to say Tony Robbins.
Ooh, that would have been really
wow.
What a great story.
Dude, I mean, I would have.
With his banana hands improvising.
What's a banana hand?
Have you seen his hands? They're like the size of each finger is the size of a banana.
Whoa.
He's a big guy.
I knew he was big, but
Can I get a location, please? With my banana hands.
I bet you he could palm a basketball with no problem, right?
Can you imagine getting a massage by him?
Oh my God.
It's a lot going on.
Like
there.
half your back is already covered with one hand.
In 5 minutes.
Done. Okay.
So anyway,
So I didn't learn from Tony Robbins.
No.
Now
Daniel.
Daniel Robbins is the name of my improv coach.
Okay.
But I now want a massage from Tony Robbins really bad. But he said...
Don't we all?
Don't we all? Daniel Robbins said, as an actor or as a creative person, you have to throw the ladder down. Now, what do you think that means, Golda?
You have to throw the ladder down?
Throw the ladder down. What do you think that means?
So it could either mean you're the top of the building and you don't want anybody else to get up, so you throw the ladder down.
Oh, you kick it off the building?
You kick it off.
Oh, yeah.
So there's no other way to get up. Or it could be a nicer way of saying that you get to the top and you help others come up. Mm-hmm. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess I didn't realize it does have two meanings. Because, like, you know, in my mind, I was imagining those unfolding rope ladders that just unfurl.
Yeah.
But yeah, gosh, throw the ladder down. You could actually kick it off and prevent anyone from coming back up. But I think Daniel meant it, meaning you have to throw a lifeline.
Okay.
You know, you've already, you've reached safety. Okay? And therefore, you need to throw the lifeline down so people can also go to safety.
And how does this relate to career or being creative, or in what context can this be useful?
So he means that people think if you help someone else, it's going to drag you down. But actually, you will elevate not just yourself, but everyone around you. I think people have this very selfish mentality, which I can't get ahead unless you get ahead. And you can't get what?
You can't get if you get ahead, then that means that I'm not gonna get ahead.
You see,
right?
I'm such a generous person that I can't even formulate that thought.
It's just not. It's so counter
of what I am, right? And so, actually, people who are at the top level, I'm talking about athletes, entrepreneurs, performers who are at the really top level, they all have this mentality, which is they share their knowledge and they uplift everybody because they're so confident in their own ability. They know that no matter what I share with you, I know that I'm still going to excel. Like, you know, like it's like Michael Jordan. He's like, I'm still going to be Michael Jordan.
regardless.
I can tell you the drills I do, or I don't know what kind of techniques he employs, but only he can motivate himself with that level of determination because he knows he's Michael Jordan.
And what is the benefit of throwing the ladder down?
Besides for feeling good,
Yeah.
is that you can actually get cross pollination with other people.
What is
Actually.
cross-pollination?
It's like, sharing ideas and becoming more knowledgeable yourself.
Yeah,
Yet becoming stronger in your own abilities.
I can definitely see that. As far as, I think a lot of people tend to think that if other people do well, that is a reflection on maybe how behind they themselves are if
Yes.
someone else is more ahead. And it also speaks to someone's mentality of that there's not enough to go around.
Yes, yeah.
Right? And what a way to live, right? What a way to live. Like there's never going to be enough. That's stressful.
I know.
That stressful?
So, tell them the crab story because we were talking, and then she says there's this relates perfectly to the ladder theory. Tell us about the crab story.
Yeah. So there is an analogy out there that exists that's called crab mentality. And basically what crab mentality is you...
Ooh, crab mentality, not crab theory.
No, crab
I
mentality.
thought it was the crab theory. That's something else altogether.
Ooh. Well, shoot, maybe I'll just coin it. Trademark.
Right now.
Don't even think about it.
Ganru trademark right
Citizens.
now. Crab theory. All right, go on.
Crab theory. So basically the crab theory or crab mentality is when you think about crabs that are going on shore, right? And they're climbing on the sand, right? And they have to get to that next step, which is like a little mini sand mountain or sand dune. What crabs tend to do is as they're climbing to get to the other side or to climb up the sand dune, they're scurrying right up the sand, and in order to feel like they can move forward, they're actually grabbing the crab that's in front of them and pulling them down in order to elevate themselves to that next step. But what they don't realize is that there is a crab behind them, maybe even the crab that they pulled down in the first place, that will do the exact same thing, that will also grab them and pull them down. So it becomes this endless cycle of bringing everyone down, each other down.
Golda, where is this crab theory popular? Or where is it well known?
Well, I'm so glad you should ask this, because the way that I learned about crab theory or crab mentality is actually it's a relatively popular term in the Philippines. When they talk about politics, when they talk about the importance of elevating people within their community, they say, let's elevate. Let's not have that crab mentality of bringing each other down, because no one is going to benefit from that.
Yeah, and it's so stupid because I told Golda, I said, the crabs should step on each other like bricks.
Like a ladder.
Like a ladder. But don't forget, the top crab has to agree that once he reaches the top, to look down and extend his pincher out to the crab below him and say, hey, grab my pincher. And they can assist each other up, right?
What a line.
Grab my pincher.
Hey there, good-looking crab. Why don't you grab my pincher? Did I say pincher? Is it pincher?
Pincer? Whatever. The thing that you eat on the hand, the meaty
claw.
part. The claw. The crab. They don't extend it out. Be like, hey, grab on. And by the way, they got two perfectly good claws. I mean, that could be... Why aren't they using them?
Yeah.
Instead, they're using them...
Being greedy.
Exactly. God is so wise. Here's two big pinchers.
Claws.
Claws. What better thing to pull?
That's a science mind.
The pincer.
With the vernacular.
Exactly. They could use their thorax to extend with the pincer.
Isn't that an animated creature? The thorax?
I think that's the thorax. Anyways, the point is they have two. They have two. So extend one pincer up and grab the top of the pile, and extend one pincer down and grab a friend. Instead, they use both of their claws and they drag one person. It's so stupid. What are you doing, stupid crab?
dumb crab.
Dumb crabs. So best thing I heard this week, don't be a crab. Don't have crab mentality. Throw down the ladder. But don't kick it down. Don't kick
it off the ledge.
Don't kick it off the ledge.
Right, but throw it down to help to elevate others. And I also think too that in doing that, Wanru, I feel like you're only creating opportunities for not only the folks that you're helping, but also for yourself. So I think that in a lot of ways, you're opening up more doors than you are not doing anything. When you don't do anything, or you don't help, or if you poo-poo people or ideas or what have you, you're actually closing the door. Yeah. You're not opening it. You're not really helping yourself or anybody else.
It's true. It's a two-way street. That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah, because one day you're going to be extending your pincher, and then another day the pincher will be extended to you. I got to look this word up after this podcast. Pincher.
Yeah, agreed. I love it. Okay. So my best thing that I learned this week actually came from a visit to my local bookstore.
Oh, what's your favorite local bookstore? Let's do a little plug right here.
Yeah, absolutely. My favorite local bookstore is Robbins bookstore here in Pasadena, California.
I love Robbins. I groped a man one time in the travel section of the Robbins, Pasadena. Oh. Little sexy segue here. It was a man I knew, though.
Oh.
But that's how romantic that place is.
You just happened upon him.
No. We were on a date, and then
I see. You went on a date at Robbins?
Well, it's cute. It's a good place to go after coffee. Anywho, go on. So you were at Robbins, perusing.
Okay. Yeah. So I was at Robbins perusing, and I happened upon this book in the career section, which I happened to pass by, and it had a really wonderful title. And I picked it up, and it's called The Gutsy Girl Handbook.
Ooh.
Your Manifesto for Success, written by Kate White, a New York Times bestseller. So, when they say that, you never judge a book by its cover, I certainly did. So it's a very, it grabbed me. I mean, I am superficial.
Okay.
With book covers.
Because it was very colorful.
Because it's colorful and it's shiny, and I like those types of things about book covers. Anyway, and so I just flipped through it, and I'm trying to think to myself, how is this book different from every other career book out there? And oh no, is this another fluffy book? And towards the front of the book, it grabbed me. And one of the things that it said was in relation to how you approach a project, an idea, or an event, or an endeavor.
Wow.
And I thought to myself, I oftentimes have projects and endeavors and ideas.
You have endeavors?
I do.
Wow. I wish, that sounds big, but I wish I had some endeavors, but maybe I will endeavor to have some endeavors. Okay, go on.
Yeah, endeavors are usually what we call ideas, but for old people. So
is that the Merriam-Webster definition of an endeavor? Ideas for old people?
I believe it is.
Fact check.
Fact check me.
Fact check.
Go ahead. I dare you.
We'll follow up on this later, but go on.
Anyway, so what this woman named Kate White, the author suggests, is to ask yourself these 4 questions when about to embark on a idea, an endeavor, a strategy, an event. Okay. Number 1 question you should ask yourself is, could it be better?
Ooh.
The second question is, could it be bigger?
Ooh.
The third question, could it be bolder? That was my favorite.
Wow.
Could it be bolder? And then the fourth, which was my also favorite, was, could it be more badass?
Wowie, wow.
What?
Wow. These are bold statements, Golda.
It is. And I think the reason why this spoke to me was when you usually approach a project or an idea, you can approach it from so many different angles. You could just want to get it done. Mm-hmm. You could want to dip your toe in the water, just see what happens.
Yes.
You can go whole hog.
Yes.
You can go 75% towards whole hog. And I think what this...
I've never heard that, by the way. I am going to go 75% on whole hog.
I am going for medium.
I am 69.8% all the way, no holds barred, 69% of no holds barred. But I know what you mean.
But imagine Wanru, right? Like if you go go towards an endeavor or an idea or a project, like this podcast idea, right? That we had once upon a time. It was just an idea.
True.
How could we make it better? How can we make it bigger? How can we make it bolder? How can we make it more badass? Those are questions sometimes in its simplicity you would think, of course you're going to ask those questions, but actually...
No, it wouldn't naturally occur to me. No.
Okay. See?
Yeah.
So now I start to think about, I think sometimes some of the best ideas or some of the best moves forward are when you go outside of your comfort zone, right?
Yes.
When you do the things that actually make you a little bit afraid, right? And I think these questions succinctly get you in that zone of thinking beyond what you even thought was imaginable for yourself.
True. I just have one little quibble with this book.
What is it?
So the title is called The Gutsy Girl Handbook.
The Gutsy Girl Handbook.
Your Manifesto for Success.
That's right.
By Kate White.
Now, I will say I have not read the whole book. Just the first couple of chapters. And so far, so good.
So far, so good.
So far, so
You
good.
do endorse this book, right?
I do like it.
I was going to say the only thing is I think they should have called it The Gutsy Girl Guidebook. Make it all G's. The Gutsy Girl Guidebook for...
Goddessness?
Yeah!
Hey! Trademarked.
Trademark. Ganru. Don't even try it, Kate White. Now that's bolder. That's... See? Okay, by the way, I'm not crapping on Kate White. I mean, she's doing an amazing thing here.
Yeah.
But if you were to take her title and make it bolder, gutsier, whatever, I would call it the Gutsy Girl's Guidebook for Goddessness. What did you call it?
For goddessicity? Goddessosity?
Yeah, goddessosity.
Oh.
Oh, next level.
Don't even think about it, Urban Dictionary.
Trademark.
You could also even bedazzle this book, and we'll put this on the show notes. And if you are curious, please visit our YouTube page video and see this book and the cover and all its glory, and also me and Wanru in all our glory. And even if you wanted to go there, I mean, she could have bedazzled this, put some rhinestones on here, maybe put a lock.
A lock?
Maybe like a twig.
A twig?
Just to bedazzle it, just to make it a little different, make it stand out a little bit.
A seashell?
Yeah.
Okay, so really quick, I think it's a great book. I like it already.
I do too.
Let's think of an idea right now, and then we'll apply her thing to it. Okay? Okay, what is a recent idea I had? I know.
Yes.
I thought, okay, by the way, don't steal this, internet. Okay, this is genius right here. I'm laying it out.
What is it?
Okay, so, we all have bad posture because we're on our devices all the time, right?
Yes.
I was thinking, what if there's something you could put on your chair or your car that I'm imagining like a thing you drape over the shoulders of the chair and it's got knobs on it? Like Gertie, our producer, she loves these peanuts, they're called, these tennis balls that are taped together, and she puts it on the ground and she rolls on it. I go, what if you have that in your chair, and when you're driving you just lean back on that peanut all like for an hour while you're driving? What do you think of that? Okay, now let's make that idea
even more badass
according to her criteria.
Bolder, bigger balls. Done. Check.
What's the next one?
It's bolder.
Bolder balls?
How do you make it better? So you're by actually having it, you're already making your sitting experience in the car better, right?
Right.
So how do you make it bigger? You just get make it a bigger ball or balls.
That's easy. Done.
And then how do you make it bolder?
Ooh.
Oh, I know.
Okay,
yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll go first. You put spiky things on the balls.
Put spiky things on the balls.
So it kind of like pokes you? That's pretty bold. What were you going to say?
So the balls are poking you?
Yeah, what were you going to say?
Usually it's rounded, but I get you. Okay, so you put the spiky things on the ball so it pokes you. I would say to name the balls.
That's your bold move, is to give the balls names?
personifying them.
Okay.
Whatever floats your boat. Know what I mean?
Okay. So we'll call it spiky and not spiky.
Yeah.
Spiky.
Yeah.
And
You can call it Chad and Bob.
Okay. Great.
Yeah?
Okay, what's the last thing? We're
last-
ripping through these.
The last thing is, could it be more badass? How can you make that more badass?
Oh, put studs on it. Metal studs, right? It's like metal. Make it leather.
Oh, good one. Or you can have interchangeable like fabric.
Badass fabric. Like
Yeah.
leopard
Yeah.
or zebra.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Totally. You get the picture,
you
right?
guys clearly we've demonstrated it so well. You should be able to apply this to all aspects of your life.
Yes.
We're messing around, but it's actually a
Yes.
fantastic idea to employ in your life.
So this is how you generate really wonderful projects, ideas, events. Could it be better, bigger, bolder, more badass? This is just in chapter 1 of this book, which I'm excited to continue reading. I'll let you know how it goes, but so far so good. So that is the best thing that we learned this week.
And now for our main topic this week, the movies that changed our lives. We're going to talk about 2 movies that were influential for both of us. Golda, would you like to start?
I would love to start. I was very excited about talking about this topic because it rings very true for me, especially when I look back at what has helped shape me and shape some of the decisions that I've made, or also has helped shape the type of enthusiasm that I have for certain things. These two movies absolutely impact those decisions.
Because I think a lot of artistic things affect us without really that we're actually not really aware of. I think the music we listen to, the movies, the books we read, all of those things. And that's why we wanted to talk about this, because I felt like I think movies have changed our lives.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
continue to, right? Even as you
Exactly.
age and get older. That's what
Yeah.
good movies really do. And when I was thinking about some of the movies, I love so many different movies for
Yeah.
so many different reasons.
Yeah, it's hard to narrow them down.
It was
yes.
really, really hard to narrow it down. But when it came down to what came out in the wash, the first movie, absolutely, without me even thinking about it, was The Sound of Music.
I was gonna say it. Oh, I was gonna guess The Sound of Music. This girl did The Sound of Music tour in Austria.
Yes, in Salzburg. I went on the official Sound of Music bus tour where you go to pivotal areas of Salzburg where they filmed The Sound of Music and you can recreate those scenes.
Oh my God! Did you run through the hills?
I twirled and I twirled until I made myself sick.
You did.
This is how hardcore I am, and I don't care. I don't care who knows it. On this bus, too, on the Sound of Music bus, they play Sound of Music music from the
soundtrack.
movie.
Yes.
And it's a sing-along. And also, just so you know, too, in addition to going to Salzburg, which was Mecca for me,
For sure.
I also have gone to the Hollywood Bowl, which is here in Los Angeles, where they have a Sound of Music sing-along, which is hilarious.
Why? Why
It's
is
hilarious.
It, why? Why is it so hilarious?
I'm assuming everybody's seen Sound of Music. I'm assuming, right?
You just
So
have to.
So you know there are Nazis in it, right? Okay, so
Spoiler.
spoiler alert. 50 years later, I don't care anymore if you haven't watched it. I'm just gonna tell you everything. Okay. Anyway, so there's Nazis in it. So every time a Nazi came on, or any time a villain came on, there were people in the audience that had those red laser pointers. Every time. So what happens is that the Philharmonic will play along with the soundtrack.
Right. It's like a live track.
Right. And then the music, like a karaoke bar, will pop up with the lyrics
That's so funny.
on the screen. So every time the clip came to like a Nazi or one of the villains or a bad guy or bad woman, someone in the audience put lasers, red lasers on their face and just started shaking at it. It's hilarious. It's
Like they
pretty
wanted
funny.
to like wipe them out or something. Like you're
Yes.
a bad face, ugly face.
Yeah, I'm going to zap you with my laser pointer that I got off of Depot.
Kill the Nazi, kill them.
Exactly. So Sound of Music, for a number of reasons, it was beautifully shot.
Yeah,
It
so tell me
made
why
me-
it's so influential.
Oh goodness. I think that it was one of the first movies as a child I watched that I understood what music was. It really was the sound of music. It was like a music lesson.
I mean, there is actually a music lesson integrated into the movie.
There is.
There literally is. They
Yeah.
teach you the scale. That's
Yeah.
the spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
They teach you the scale in the movie, right?
Absolutely.
And it introduced you to the concept of music.
Absolutely, and made it very accessible.
Sure.
And I believe that my music, in addition to other things, but I have a music background and
A love of music.
a love of music, and continue to, and a respect and admiration for musicians. And Sound of Music, I want to say, was one of the beginnings, was one of the origins of that appreciation and love for it, for sure. Rodgers and Hammerstein were the composer and lyricist for all of the songs. It originally was a Broadway production that they turned into a movie. And the second thing, in addition to the music, of course, which is just incomparable,
Outstanding, yeah.
were the performances by Julie Andrews
Yes.
and Christopher Plummer.
Christopher Plummer, my God.
And
he
all of-
still looks amazing.
Yeah,
He
he's
is, oh my God. He's
for
preserved.
real. He's a
Yeah.
for real, tried and true actor.
Amazing, yeah.
The performances, and then the location. This was in Salzburg. I mean, you're talking to a little girl, little first generation Asian American girl who never went anywhere beyond a 2-mile radius of her little apartment building, to see big mountains, open space, greenery. I think there was a fountain or more than one fountain, a big Coliseum space. That to me was, this is pre-internet, pre a lot of things.
It just expanded your world.
Absolutely. And it was yet another thing when a year or two ago we went to Salzburg, and there was no shame, Wanru. There was no shame. I could care less how I looked. I sang those songs to the top of my lungs.
Good for you.
And you know that scene when they go around they're in Salzburg, like the kids and Maria go around the fountain. They're dancing around the fountain.
I don't really remember that part. I'll look it up.
Oh, you should
Okay.
you should revisit that. That's a good one. And then they go to the top of the stairs, and then she hits a really high note, and then she holds on to her head, and then she points to the sky. That's like pivotal, right? Oh, I did that.
You did that whole
I did
scene?
it. I did the whole thing.
Did you hit that note?
Come on.
we're already talking.
Do you not have my album?
I do.
By the
I
way,
do.
it's on
I shouldn't-
iTunes under Durwood. Just check it out. It's
DURWOOD. Very
and
good
I'm not
album.
the old man one. It's the one because there's another Durwood who's an old man, but that's not me. That's somebody else who I'm sure is wonderful.
But
Anywho,
can he hit that note at the top of stairs like Golda can? No.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't know. Who knows?
Doubt it. Okay.
Yeah.
So you
So
sang your heart out.
I sang my heart out. I ate the schnitzel. I did the whole thing. I did all of that. So Sound of Music, for the scenery, for the love, for the timelessness of it. I can watch it. I've literally watched it over 100 times in my lifetime, easily.
And I think that should be a criteria for a movie that influences you. It's something you can watch over and over again.
Yeah, easily. I've
Yeah.
watched it over 100 times. And I think that it was still exciting for me. I planned this vacation because of the Sound of Music
And was it everything that you
and more
and more? Oh God.
and more.
Exceeded your expectations.
I would highly recommend anyone, even if you haven't seen the Sound of Music, Salzburg is beautiful.
You
Just
know,
takes my breath away.
whenever Sound of Music comes on television, if it's playing in the background or if I see it playing anywhere, I will start crying at very critical key moments, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I think there's 4 or 5 key moments. The Edelweiss moment is, it gets me every time when the audience starts singing Edelweiss. Like, oh, stop it.
He was so mean before. Now he's singing a song to his children.
Wait, what? I think
Oh, sorry. No, you don't have that reaction.
no, I thought it was the time where they're forced to perform by the Nazis.
Oh, yeah.
Remember?
It's reprised. Oh, Ganru. Yeah. Okay. So the first time
Clearly.
it's saying when the Captain Von Trapp comes home, is about to fire Maria again. Spoiler alert. Do not blame me.
Yes,
Okay.
refresh my memory. So he's about to fire her.
He's about to fire her, and then he discovers that his kids have miraculously learned how to sing. And so the eldest, Liesel, says, "Oh, Daddy, do you want to sing, Daddy? Your guitar, Daddy?" Maybe, yeah, that's more Oliver, but you get the picture. So he's like, I haven't played a guitar in forever. Then let me see if I ding, 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 tuning the guitar. Let me see if I remember. Let me see if I remember this song.
I don't know. I can't. I don't think I could.
Edelweiss, Edelweiss.
Perfect key.
And the children are looking up at him just so like he's their hero and idol. Mm-hmm. And then he catches Maria's eye, who just got fired. And she's like, oh. And then she's about to run off. And he puts the guitar down and he says, "Oh, Fräulein, I've forgotten what music was.
Aww.
You brought music back into the house. I'd forgotten." Oh, man.
Oh, dang.
There it is.
Then he kicks that cold German girlfriend of his to the curb, the Baroness.
She's the Baroness Schrader.
She got kicked to the curb after that.
Oh, let's see now. Let's bring out that dress that the captain couldn't take his eyes off you. Couldn't take his eyes off me.
Wait, who is this?
Oh, sorry.
You're
I'm in my zone.
She's gone into a different
Sorry.
place.
This is what happens when we talk about Sound of Music. I can quote this movie.
Clearly.
Yeah, scene by scene. So that's the scene when the Baroness tries to kick out Maria.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, it was
couldn't do it.
It was very civilized, civilized bitchery. Anyway, fantastic movie. If you haven't seen it, which I don't understand why you wouldn't, highly recommend. It hits all of the boxes.
Oh yeah, totally.
For
Emotional, nostalgic, good music,
Yes,
and
good-looking people.
Good-looking people.
Yeah, that helps.
Yeah, it's got everything.
Yeah, it's got everything.
Yeah. And back to how I was talking about how I cry at everything.
Yeah.
As I've aged, I cry at different parts because I understand different parts.
Like which ones?
Like, okay, so Edelweiss is the one. The moment of Edelweiss, I was thinking, is when the Nazis are forcing the Von Trapp.
Right, when they're
Fans.
performing at the festival
Right.
at the end.
And
Yes.
so they're
The
doing
Salzburg Festival.
they're trying to do it out of obligation, but they're trying to
Right.
escape as well.
Right.
So they sing Edelweiss, and the whole audience joins in with them because they're all the anti-Nazi people remembering their heritage,
Yeah.
I guess, right?
Yeah, before
So-
being occupied. Yes.
Yes, so they're trying to protest.
Yes.
So when I got older and I understood the meaning of that, I'm like, oh, that's why they're singing. It's not because they know the song. It's because they're trying to protest the Nazis. Okay, so that was very sweet. And then when they fall in love and they sing that.
in the silhouette.
Oh,
In the silhouette in the moonlight.
yeah.
Oh,
What's the
that's a
chorus
good
of that
song.
song? Like somewhere in my youth. Go ahead. I know Golden's got it ready. Okay,
Sorry,
please. Go ahead. Ready.
I must have done something good. Nothing comes from
more.
nothing. Nothing ever could.
But
So-
somewhere in my youth.
Childhood. I must have done something. Something. That's right. Alternative ending. Good. Oh my god, that kills me.
Oh!
That kills
Okay,
me.
all right. This is why
So
you need to watch the
good.
original
Just
version.
watch it.
Because
Watch it.
I messed her up. She was doing good.
No, it was good.
You should have done both parts. You should have done.
And I have in my lifetime. But anyway, you were great. You were really good. That's good stuff, isn't it?
God,
so
man.
good. It's
So-
so heart filling.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so at another stage in my life, I watched that part and I was like, oh my God, here's two people who never thought they were going to find love again.
Yeah.
I mean, one's a nun, so Ooh, I
Not
mean,
yet
yeah.
nun. She's a not yet nun.
Right. She was
or
on her way to being a nun.
she's a novice.
Right. So she did not expect to find love. And here's this older kind of like dead inside man. Am I right?
Yeah, he is dead inside.
He was dead inside. He was a bit of a stick in the mud.
He's kind of a jerk.
Kind of was.
Now that I think about it.
Yeah. So then I had more appreciation of that particular moment. And then many years later, I mean, this is like, I'm old, so I've watched it many times. But you know, when she goes back to the nunnery,
The Abbey.
the abbey,
Yes.
and then the head mother sings that song to her.
Yes.
Oh.
The Mother Superior.
Mother Superior, because basically she's telling her to just, because
She
she's
has
like,
to climb that mountain. That one.
because Maria's like, I'm leaving the nunnery.
No, she said, "I'm
Oh wait, let's get the
Sorry.
facts straight. Fact checker. Go ahead.
Maria. Why have you come back to the Abbey?" "Oh, mother, I don't know. I don't know, mother. I'm so confused." "Confused? Child, why are you so confused? Did the captain do so?" "No, mother, no, nothing like that, mother. No, I don't know." "Do you love him?" "Love him? No, I don't know, mother." "Climb every mountain." Profile. Ford
Backlit.
every stream. Maria listening intently.
Soft light on her face.
Follow every rainbow till you find your dream. Oh my God.
Oh.
I was listening to that Mother Superior. I was like, I need to find my dream.
Oh my God.
To find my dream, like Maria did.
For those of you listening on the podcast, please check out the YouTube video because Golda just did the full reenactment. I literally saw the Abbey right now, like right before my eyes.
Couldn't you though?
I saw the light streaming in through the window
Yeah.
of that stained glass.
Yep.
I think I saw the Mother Superior's.
Smell the incense
Oh, yeah.
of the abbey in the church.
Yeah.
Feel the coldness of the stone
Oh, yeah.
around them, right? 'Cause
Itchy fabric that she was wearing.
Yeah.
her-
oh,
that itchy wool dress.
bad ventilation
Yeah, all their
in
clothes
the
look.
so and so areas.
I was gonna say the only thing about Sound of Music is their clothes look very uncomfortable.
Yeah, but you know it's Europe.
That's your explanation. It's Europe.
See, did I mention? Well, I mean, look, she's making clothes out of drapes.
True. That's
Right?
how
I
uncomfortable
mean-
their clothes were. They're like, what could be a more comfortable material than what we're wearing? Drapes.
But very industrious.
Very industrious.
Anyway,
Okay.
now what? Now
Oh.
that's such a great movie, but I'm curious
Okay.
what your first movie is that you want to share.
Okay, so I also picked a movie from my youth.
Okay.
I don't have it memorized and committed to memory like Golda does. But the emotional impact,
Okay.
I still remember how it made me feel.
Let's hear
Which
it.
is number one. Okay, the movie is E.T. Extra-Terrestrial, 1982 Steven Spielberg movie. Boop, boop. She's booping me on my nose with her finger. He had a banana finger, that E.T., right?
Yeah, he sure did. He had
Right.
like a ginger root finger.
Like a breadstick finger.
Yeah, like a breadstick.
Just like huge and bony.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think, how old was I when I was?
It's a great movie. Steven Spielberg directed.
Yes, I was. So, you know, you're going to relate to the different children in the movie depending on the age you were when you first watched this. Of course, I related to Elliot, who was played by Henry Thomas. He's also the main character. We were about the same age.
Yes.
And I was at that age where it was traumatizing. It was a bit too graphic for me.
Okay.
And yet I had the emotional awareness to become invested in the movie.
Okay.
So I was fully invested in the movie. Probably one of the first movies I totally, fully understood, you know, versus, you know, when you're a kid, you don't understand what's going on. You just look for explosions or you look for cartoons or something cute.
Yeah.
I understood the whole theory. I understood the dynamic between the different characters.
Yeah.
There's like this young kid, he's divorced, he's got an older brother, he's got a younger sister. You understand all the relationships and you understand the importance of the relationship between E.T. and Elliot. And then therefore, when E.T. leaves, I was traumatized.
I know.
I was so traumatized by them. When Elliot
Did you feel abandoned?
Oh my God. I felt like, I don't know. I felt like I had lost.
You're like your best friend moved. It's like your best friend moving.
Even worse, it'd be like your whole family got in a spaceship and flew away or something like that. I don't know. This is not a good analogy, but basically, or maybe, you know what? I'm just going to link it because I grew up in Taiwan and I was raised by my relatives until the age of 5. My parents, very soon after I was born, they abandoned me there. Abandoned is a strong word. Abandoned is a strong word, but they left to the United States for work opportunities, and they picked me up again when I was 5.
And who did you stay with?
My aunt and uncle during that time.
Oh,
so I'm E.T. I'm E.T. Oh my God, I'm having a breakthrough moment right now. Whoa, I'm E.T. Right?
I think you're Elliot.
Wait, am I Elliot?
You're Elliot. Your parents are E.T. because you said your parents left, right?
Wait, I don't know how.
So you were in Taiwan,
yeah,
right? And then your parents left to move to America,
yeah,
for 5 years.
Then they picked me up, and
after
then
5 years,
and they took me to the States.
Right. So you're Elliot because you're being the one left behind.
Wait, but I really loved my relatives, and that was what I knew, and that was my comfort zone. So I was being taken away from my comfort zone. You know what?
I see.
Yeah, my parents are the I hate to say this, I love my parents, but they're like the bad guys who try to come and take E.T. away from Elliot. Remember the guys,
the scientists?
The scientists. You remember the FBI agents with my parents are them.
CDC.
Yeah, my parents were the CDC and the FBI and the
governance.
Yeah.
They were the governance.
Right. And I mean, I'm trying to ride away on the bicycle and my parents are the FBI. So, okay, maybe this analogy doesn't really line up. Let's just say it was one of those movies that I could fully understand emotionally. It was, it was a blockbuster.
Yeah. Oh, man.
It was a phenomenon.
Yeah. And it was Drew Barrymore. That was her first movie, I believe, right?
One of her first movies. Just an adorable performance by her.
She played Gert. Was her name Gert? She was so
Gertie,
cute.
her name was Gertie, yeah.
She was so cute.
Very cute.
Yeah.
And the theme of
family, right? Transition. Because I think the storyline was that Elliot's family, they were just experiencing a divorce.
Correct. And then you never see the father, but he was raised by a single mother. So that was a very interesting storyline as well.
Yeah.
And just forming that bond with someone being open-minded enough to create a new friend with a breadstick finger.
Yeah.
And understanding to each other. Because the two of them almost had a psychic bond.
Well, they also had that little speak and say. Remember the little speak and say?
Oh,
hello. Bing, bong, bing, bong, bing.
Yes.
I'm Elliot. Remember that?
Yes, and that's what he used. He actually hooked that device to create
so cool.
a thing to like phone home.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's phoning home with that device. And so,
what do you think it was about that movie, though, that really struck a chord? Because I remember watching that as a little kid, and I watched with my parents at the Cinerama Dome here in Hollywood.
Oh, on Sunset?
I remember that was the first time I went to the Cinerama Dome, and we went to watch E.T., and it was sold out. I think we went that opening weekend, and it was during the days when there was only one theater with one movie. This is not a multiplex situation. And you went to the theater and it was an event to go to the theater. And I remember there being a very long line, and it was a matinee, like 2:00 or something like that on a weekend. There was a long line around the block. And I remember my parents were very moved by it.
They were crying.
Yeah, they were moved by it. And I was really moved too, because I was really sad because E.T. reminded me like of a dog or something.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
Like if your dog was running away, and I was sad about that. But what do you think now that you're an adult when you think back at that movie? What is it about that movie that's so moving?
Just the separation for me. I think the aspect of bonding and then separation, and that knowing, like, E.T. had to go home, man. I mean, he was dying on planet Earth, right?
Yeah.
Remember he got all shriveled up and stuff, and he
With
turned all
that flower pot that represented his life, his lifeline.
His qigong, as the Chinese people would say. Yeah.
How do you say it?
Don't quote me. Don't. Okay, Chinese fact checkers. Qigong. Qigong. I don't know.
And that means
life force.
Life force.
Yeah, he had a flower pot, and he could bring it to life with his own life force. But he was expending his life force being on Earth because he wasn't being nurtured by I don't know. Maybe we had the wrong oxygen content or atmosphere for him. So, it was like Elliot knew he had to go.
Yeah.
Right? And then E.T. knew he had to go. And there's this one moment when the spaceship comes for E.T. And he's walking and he turns around and he tells Elliot, come.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, man. That was
tough. And then Elliot's like, stay up.
Oh, yeah.
And then they both realize it's not going to work. And then E.T. goes, you'll be right here. And he points at his heart.
You're reliving it, aren't you?
See?
You're reliving it.
So basically, it was emotional but traumatic enough to be seared into my mind, and that's why it's an influential movie.
Do you think that having seen that movie and how it made you feel at the time, has that influenced you at any time in your life? Or has that helped you in any way in your life?
It made me want to eat Reese's Pieces.
Oh my gosh, right? I remember that. What was the Reese's Pieces? Like he left it like as bait, right?
Yeah, to tempt him out of the woods.
The peanut butter, Reese's peanut butter?
Yeah. By the way, Eminem, stupid moves. Did you know that Eminem was approached, Nestle was approached to have the
M&Ms
in the movie, and
M&Ms?
they declined.
Say minimum.
Minimum.
There you go.
Thank you. So they approached Nestle and said, would you like to have M&Ms in the movie?
Yeah.
And they said no. So they had to go with Reese's Pieces.
Man, they are kicking themselves to this day.
Really?
Some guy in the M&M Horde headquarters still kicking himself.
Yeah. And so I think that was it. It's just the theme of the separation and growing up and the cool special effects. And that's why it's one of my most influential movies.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I would say that's a great one. I remember that movie really well.
Yeah.
Such a great movie. I need to revisit that movie.
Yeah.
If I always like seeing, it's very easy to watch these movies on your TV or pay-per-view or rent it, go to a Red Box or something. But to see it on the big screen again, that's a whole other different experience. It's like reliving it.
Yeah.
Right? So I almost want to say that they sometimes have these ET screenings on big screens.
Oh, right.
In different multiplexes to celebrate certain anniversaries.
Oh, that would be cool. Yeah.
And did you have anything more to say about ET?
No, but I don't think I could watch it in public because I'll be crying.
Oh,
violently. Really? Like like the kind of crying where like air doesn't, air's like fighting to get in, and you make those awkward noises because you're stifling it. You're like you try not to cry, and then goodness. All right, a little bit
so you don't
TMI.
want to cry at the movie theater?
No, but at home what I do is,
what do you do at home?
I'm feeling a lot. I get a box of tissue and then I just stuff it up my nose.
Oh.
One tissue per nostril. That way I can cry.
Oh, so the water just comes down.
It just comes down.
And the breathing doesn't become an obstacle.
I just
wow,
breathe
that's
through my
the scientist's mind. You're figuring out pain. And the physiological effects.
Good system. I figured out a good system to block the boogers from coming down, and it also collects the tears, and then you can breathe through your mouth. Anyways, let's move on. So, lovely listeners, we had such a good time taping the movies that changed our lives. Didn't we have a good time, Golda?
We had a great time. In fact, so great.
So great.
That we ran super ass long.
Well, like doubly as long as we thought it would go. But we didn't want to cut any of it. So what we decided to do is to split it up into a part 1, which you've just listened to, and a part 2, which will be available next week.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining us. If you have enjoyed what you have listened to or watched so far, we would love to hear from you. Please feel free to rank us and rate us and provide us feedback on iTunes, Spotify, Outcast. Is it Outcast? Overcast.
Outcast.
Outcast is the
okay. Yeah.
Uh-oh. Not that.
Outcast,
Stitcher.
if you want to reach out to us, we would be happy to hear from you. We'll take it.
Yes. Until next time, I'm Golda.
And I'm Ganru.
This has been the Ganru Show. Thank you. Bye.